as we continue about trusting God spiritually, physically, and materially, we are recognizing the fact that we need the power in the blood of the Lord Jesus Christ to help us to stand protected, covered, and not to allow things to not allow us to follow everybody, but to continue to remember what should we do? What does the Bible say? What does the scriptures tell us? What has God said? So in Revelation 13, we find that this is what God has prophesied. And again, let's read it and then we can see what God is reminding us. It's also long, but it's all part of the scripture studies. In Revelation 13, verse 1 and following, it says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 hands and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." Verse 3. "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast." Verse 4. "And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?" Verse 5. "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Verse 6. "And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven." 7. "And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them," which means the Christians, "and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindred, every one, and tongues and nations." 8. "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world." Verse 9. "If any man have an ear, let him hear." 10. "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All of this is just an introduction for us to know what is happening, but this is just an introduction, and should I say, it doesn't actually affect, but we have to know the context so that we can understand. Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth." This is where the main topic is. Verse 11. "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon." Verse 12. "And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." Verse 13. Verse 13 says, "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." Verse 14. "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword, and did live. 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. 17. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666, which means 666. Amen. So that is for us to know.
Before going further, can you read verse 10 and put it in everyday context?
Okay.
Verse 10. Read that later and put it related to everyday context.
Okay. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So here he is first talking about all the things that will be done. Those who are taking people into captivity, they are also going to be into captivity. Those who go about wars, killing, doing all the things that they do, the evil, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must also be killed. So he is helping us to know that, or reminding us, telling us that when this thing, this rise of the Antichrist is evident, of course there are already many Antichrists. So he is telling us that when the Antichrist is in control, when he is in charge, when he controls the whole world, remember, it has to be somebody who has to be able to do in such a way that he is able to control the whole world. And for example, he is telling us that those who used to arrest people and put them into jail, and they are also going to be arrested. They are going to be put into the same way. They are also going to be under the control of this new order, or this new person who is going to be in control. So the whole idea is that there are many things being said from the beginning of verse 1. And I stood, behold, the sound of, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads.
So
and
the beast, they refer to the beast as Satan, or?
Well, the beast is actually an angel of Satan. It's an angel of Satan, and it could be anyone or anything. A beast can be somebody who is more or less against God and everything he said, because there are false prophets and all of this, the apostle Paul. We've read some of these things before. So yes, and he says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns and 10 crowns, and upon his head and the name of blasphemy. So all that is being said here is that it is not actually a beast, an animal. It's a representation of evil, of disobedience, of, this is talking about kings and kingdoms. So it is looking like they're actually going to be a lion, but what he's saying is that there will be king, and that king, it's represented by, for example, Rome. We know Alexander the Great. When he came into the scene, what happened? He was one of the beasts. And when he arose, he did what he wanted to do, but then he didn't last. And out of him came 4 generals. So the four generals were also part of the thing. Then they also ruled. They separated the whole kingdom. Okay, I'm taking this part, I'm taking that part, I'm taking that part. But they also have to fight for it. And so it says a beast rise up out of the sea, which means a king or a kingdom or somebody very powerful, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So already you have a kingdom. For example, look at the nation. United Nations can be considered one. And then the United Nations has nations under it. And then those nations also have people under them. So, or generals or representatives under them. So everybody is being represented here. So, and when we go to Daniel, there is a longer, translation about that, because in Daniel, Daniel's prophecy also tells us that those people who were involved, they were also they were beasts, but the beasts were actually kingdoms.